Hey guys, welcome back to another r/entitled parents video. So I saw my last video and to be honest, I was surprised in how well it did. Last time I checked it was just over 200 views, and that's probably one of the quickest any of my videos has ever got any sort of viewage, which I'm really happy about. So I'm guessing a lot of you guys enjoyed it, so I thought I would do more for you. Today we've got another 3 like we did last time. Sorry, I just closed my door. And I think, well, before we go into them, I think we'll have a look at what they're called. So we've got one which is about daughter dating, entitled parent wants someone to date their daughter. The second one is about entitled parent wanting their son to ride a dangerous horse in which children are allowed to ride, and the last one is one about a dog being fed sticks in which he can choke, and then the entitled parent comes over and is a bit, I don't know, a bit angry and stuff. So without further ado, I think we'll go into the first one. So for some context, I am a 17-year-old male and I work at a Segway tour company. It's actually really fun. I get to ride Segways around the city and talk to people and get paid to do it, plus the tip-in is bad. So anyway, there was a tour booked a couple of days ago and I came in about 20 minutes early to answer emails and get everything ready. The group shows up, mother, daughter, and that's when things get interesting. I'm not going to insult your intelligence by telling you what EP and M stand for, but D equals daughter and FBI equals Federal Bureau of Investigation, just for some useful information. This seems like it's gonna be a bit wacky. Anyway, EP and D come in and I check them in. Me. Alright, I have some waivers for you to sign. D, how old are you? D, 16, me. Okay, they don't, then you don't need to sign a waiver. I ask this because kids that are younger than 18, their parents sign the waivers for them. But EP only heard me say this part when I said EP didn't need to sign the waiver, so she thought I was just asking her daughter how old she was. This was probably what started it all. We go on tour, and while I'm giving my spiel, EP keeps interrupting me and just tells me stuff about D and find if we were compatible, me. And so this non-profit organisation to open. Are you in college? No, I'm a junior high school. I'm usually pretty free with info about myself on tours because it helps keep people relaxed and initiates conversations during lulls in the tour. Plus it helps with tipping. EP. Oh, D is also a junior. She is an artist. Stuff like this keeps happening throughout the tour, and every time D gets redder and redder. My mum does this too where she just tells random more tangents about me, so I know what D is going through and I feel her pain. At the end of the tour, I tell the two of them that they have 15 minutes to go around the town and see, and then they can meet back at the Segway place. I get back and start getting things set up for their return. They roll in, pardon the pun, and I take their Segways to start charging them. EP. So what do you think of my daughter? Me. Pardon me? What? EP. I saw you checking her out during the tour. Are you going to ask her out? Mum, stop. Ma'am, I just recently got out of a relationship, so I'm not looking for anything right now. What? Huh? Is my daughter not good enough for you? No, that's not it. I just said that I just got out of a relation. You are going to date my daughter and that's final. You can't tell me what to do. I'm not your kid, and if you don't want to date your daughter, I don't have to. Besides, you've been asked her if she wants me to date me. Yeah, I don't want to date him. See? I'm going to call your boss and tell him about your terrible customer service. You're never going to work in City Dame again. Putting out my phone. Alright, you want me to call him, explain the situation? How you're trying to force me to date your daughter and get me fired for saying no? Then I guess the absurdity of the situation finally sunk in, and her face transitioned from pure rage to slight confusion. Wait, maybe I don't want to. Now let's call him. Start to go through my contacts and press my boss's name. Let's have this conversation. I don't think that's a good idea. Phone starts ringing. D, let's go. EP runs out the door. D turns to me and says I'm sorry, and then follows her mum. I hang up the phone before my boss answers and start cleaning the segways. I have some more stories from my work. You'll tell me if you want to hear them. I mean, pretty crazy. It's just a case of the person or the entire parents not understanding the fact that he's not interested, just because purely he's just be in a relationship, he doesn't want to be into another one yet, and then just the EP just getting mad over that. You can even tell by what the daughter's saying that she isn't really interested either, so I don't know what was going through the entire parent's head at all during that time. But without further ado, we're going to the next one, which this one is about a horse riding incident. There's a dangerous horse. The EP wants to her child to ride it, but yeah, we'll see how this one goes. Yes, I'm only 15, but I volunteer at a horse riding school. I help with little kid lessons and look after the horses and stuff. We have this one horse who I'll call DH for dangerous horse. DH is one of our tall horses, around 17, I'll just go for 6 foot. He is not suitable to be ridden by children and can be dangerous by bolting or throwing people off. Anyway, now we've got that sorted, let's get into the actual story. EM equals entitled mother, SK is stupid kid, me is me, DH dangerous horse, RI riding instructor. Entitled mother and stupid kid come to the stables on one of our open days we hold in the school holidays. Basically, kids come along to get to ride a little bit, have a tour of the stables and give the horses treats and stuff like that. SK immediately ran over to DH, who was in a place SK wasn't meant to be. He started shouting that he wanted to ride this one, which spooked DH and other horses. I only got stood on as I was in the box with DH at the time, so I told SK to keep his voice down because it scares the horses. SK, I want to ride this one. Me, I'm sorry, but he can't be ridden by children. He's very dangerous. He doesn't look very dangerous. SK goes to pet DH, but the horse panicked and spun around away from SK. Why doesn't he want to play? I just want to pet him. You have to be respectful to all horses. If you don't want to play, if they don't want to play, then they won't. He's scared at the moment. SK then lets out a blood-curdling scream. Mom! EM then appears around the corner and comes marching up to SK. What is going on here, SK? She won't let me pet the horse. Listen, he's very EM cuts me off. If my son wants to pet the horse, I don't see any problem with it, so let him. DH doesn't want to be petted. Your son scared him. What are you on about? My son is gentle and not scary to big animals like this. Go pet him, SK. As SK goes to pet him one last time, DH swings his head around at SK, hitting SK on the chin. Not very hard though. SK and EM leave to go for their riding lessons with SK crying. Later on, I hear some commotion out front by where the lessons are. I go round to see what's going on because I'm curious. When I get around the corner, I see EM and SK having an argument with RI about which horse they want to ride. The kids got to choose from around 5 ponies on which one they wanted to ride. SK didn't want a pony and demanded that he rode DH. EM then argues with RI about this for about 5 minutes until picking up her son, who was now crying, and taking him in my direction. She stormed past me and up to DH stable. She tried to open the door, but we have these tricky locks things on them, so horses can't open them, which meant she couldn't either. She minded at me that I open the door and get DH out for her son to ride. Why are you standing there? Help me get this stupid animal out of here for my son. You can't do that, he's not part of the pony's rides. He is now. Hurry up, I haven't got all day. You're not allowed. Get him out of my son. Get him out now. My son wants to ride him. RI appears around the corner in DH's saddle and bridle. She tells him to tack him up quickly with a ride. SK then got all excited and EM had a smirk on her face, assuming what she meant him. I tacked DK up and took him out of his box. He was 3 times the height of the kid. I know RI wouldn't actually let the kid on DH, but it was amusing watching the kid's excitement. Is that wrong? Okay, where do you get on? We usually get on just around the corner, but you're going to get on here, she said. She said that looking at me, so I knew what to do. She then handed me the helmet. Why are you giving that to her? My son is the one riding. I want to ride the pony. It's my turn. You're too small for DH and he's dangerous. She then helps me get on and I ride into the arena with DH. I was the only one in there at the time, but SK followed me whining, but being stopped at the gate by RI. Remember when I said DH liked to throw people and bolt? I meant it. As soon as we were in the arena, DH bolted and started bucking. It was like a rodeo or something, and he did it for a couple of minutes. When he had stopped, I looked over to EM, who had the most amusing look of shock in her face. It was brilliant. Why were you going to let my son on that dangerous animal? He would have died. She then grabbed SK and left. It's safe to say that I don't think she'll be bothering us for a while. I mean, that's pretty crazy. I mean, if I was like, oh, I want to ride this horse, and I was told I can't because it's dangerous, it's kind of just like, I'm going to take your word, you probably rode this horse before, I've never rode this horse, it kind of makes a bit of sense. But no, this mother is just so ignorant and just thinks, no, it's fine, you don't know what you're talking about, this horse is not going to hurt my son. And then for her to then realise later on, when the horse does what the horse does, she is like also just a different person, like, oh, that's a dangerous horse, you can't let my son ride that. It's like, see? It's just so odd with these parent stories sometimes. It's like they're so what's the word? They're so into being right, even though when they are wrong, they think they're so right, and then they realise that actually when something happens, they realise they're wrong, and they try to make it like it's someone else's fault and not theirs. Which sometimes I don't really understand. However, we are going to get into our third and final story, so here we go. So this one is about basically children feeding, well, not feeding, but giving a dog sticks in which she could choke on them, and things get escalated after that. So let's begin. Okay, so a little bit of backstory. This happened about last year, and I had a Springer Spaniel mixed with a miniature poodle. I've never seen something like that, and I've never really heard that crossbreed, but I'm not gonna lie, probably is pretty nice. And he rips apart very quickly. Not things in the house, but like sticks and chew toys. So we don't give him sticks because he chokes on them. I'm sure you can already see where this is going. So I was at the park with my mum and dad, grandparents and second cousins because I had never met them, and the dog couldn't come in the park, so generally every 5 to 10 minutes or so, someone would just go and walk him. So obviously when he's not being walked, we put him on the fence closest to us so we can still see him and he doesn't panic or anything like that. Just after I had walked him and put him back, I hear a sort of couching noise. So I turned around and there are 2 kids giving him sticks. So I walk over, I get that people don't know that he chokes them. So I just ask politely for them to not give the dog, he's called Maxwell or Maxie, sticks. So they say okay, walk off. In comes EP3. In comes EP 3 or so minutes later, holding the 2 boys' hands, and starts shouting at me about not letting these children give my dog sticks. So I politely explained to her that he can't have sticks because he will choke on them. Yes, but we've always wanted a dog, but we just couldn't look after one. Again, I explained. I'm sorry to hear that, but he still can't have sticks. I even offered the two young boys a ball they can throw for him if they wanted, as he is fine with balls because they don't break into small pieces. I don't care, they can give him what they want, it's not against the law. At this point I've given up and just say, "What the fuck, lady, fuck off away from my dog." Knowing that he is going to choke on a stick would be against the law because you would know he would choke and therefore it is animal cruelty, so fuck off. She then shuts up, starts mumbling about how disrespectful I am to other people, and then, walks off. My dad heard the whole thing, and he's not very strict, so I just got there's other language you could have used, and I did point it to look, but equally but you did the right thing. It was in Leeds because that's where they were from. I'm not from there, and therefore I've never seen them again, luckily. So basically, long story short, EP gets mad that I won't let her children give my dog sticks, even though he would choke. I get pissed off, then she eventually leaves. I just think again that's just the entitled parent being a bit ignorant. It's just like the owner has said, "Oh, this happened, so you shouldn't." It's like the horse story. The owner knows what happens. They've never met the dog before. They should think, okay, that makes sense, I'll believe you because it's your dog, you know what you're doing, and that's that. But there's just those sort of people who just think, oh, I'm right even when they're wrong. And again, in this case though, it wasn't a fact of like after stuff has happened, it's like, oh, try and blame it on another person. It was just a fact of, oh, you're just so disrespectful and stuff. It's like, well, you're being disrespectful as well because you're being disrespectful to another person by shouting at them, by disobeying what they say about their possessions and stuff like that. I just think it's a bit crazy sometimes. But yeah, that's all three of the stories that I have for today. This one is a bit longer than the last one. Obviously, I did. The last one was just under like 17 minutes, like 60 minutes, 40 seconds, something like that. I have no idea, but this one is just a slight bit longer, maybe a minute or two longer. But yeah, that's all the stories I have for today. Remember, leave a comment down below if you want more entitled parents. Maybe even some. You can also. I have a community on PlayStation. I will leave the title of that in the description, so you can just search it up and you can request to join. And for that, I will. I want you guys to send me the titles or just links of like entitled parents or entitled parent stories that you want me to do in the next video or next few videos or whatnot, because I will be really interested in what you guys have read on Reddit or anything like that, or anything your friends suggested. Also, let me know what other subreddits you want me to do, because I know I want to do Choosing Beggars and Mad Lads. I think they're quite good ones. So I think there'll be a lot of short ones because they're more like just image posts and stuff from what I've seen or what I've looked at. So what we'll do is we'll see what you guys say in the comments, and yeah, that'll be it. I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. Peace.